History has shown us that real impeachment is nothing like the partisan divide we saw this week in Nancy Pelosi's House vote to formalize procedures for the impeachment inquiry. The vote was 232 to 196, strictly along party lines. Two Democrats, however, defected and even voted with the Republicans. It is so clear what's happening here. A vote to simply formalize the procedure is by far the least partisan vote. It's benign. If there were a scintilla of evidence of an impeachable offense, that vote would have crossed party lines as it did with Nixon and Clinton. Prediction? Complete and total failure, ultimately, in the Senate. The Democrat players here are dishonest, disingenuous, and deceitful. Example, Nancy says, "I'll only do this in a nonpartisan way."
If and when the time comes for impeachment, it will have to be something that has such a crescendo in a bipartisan way.
She lied. The woman is more than willing to impeach in a partisan way, as well as divide the country in her power grab from the rightful occupant of the Oval Office. And lying sack of Schiff is so dishonest, his law license should be revoked. He lies about the so-called whistleblower, saying, "We never talked to him," when they did. He perjures himself in Congress as he lies about what the president said on the Ukraine phone call. He lied when he told us he had evidence of Russia collusion. He was cunning as he created a narrative about Ukraine while the deep state cultivated the so-called whistleblower who reportedly is an Obama holdover, who, although not confirmed by Fox News, has apparently worked with Joe Biden, John Brennan, and Susan Rice. Just like the Russia collusion delusion, these liars created yet another narrative so they could impeach Donald Trump. Now, whistleblowers historically were required to have firsthand knowledge, but no. The Democrats just changed the rule. Now, hearsay can be the basis to take down a president. You don't have to see it, witness it, or even hear it firsthand. You can just mosey around and talk to the other malcontents in the West Wing who don't like Donald Trump and then call yourself a whistleblower. Now, either Schiff is stupid or his ego is so big that he doesn't know that a president can only be impeached when a high crime or misdemeanor occurs, like when a president has done something so outrageous and so beyond the norm that we as a nation say he no longer deserves to remain in the Oval, that he can no longer be our commander-in-chief. Bill Clinton engaging in sex acts with an intern in the Oval Office while he is president. That's as about disgusting an abuse of power that the Me Too movement has ever chosen to ignore. Richard Nixon was part of a conspiracy that approved a burglary into the Democratic headquarters at Watergate, a crime in and of itself. In both cases, there was nonpartisan subpoena power. The president's attorneys were present. There was cross-examination. And get this, Adam Schiff has a closed-door interview on the day the Democrats voted to make the process more transparent. What a joke. This guy thinks he's an emperor, and they're probably telling him his clothes are beautiful. There are no rules here. This so-called formalizing the impeachment inquiry puts the president in a worse place than any other president where impeachment was attempted. In Queen Nancy and Emperor Adam's world, Donald Trump has fewer rights than an MS-13 gang member illegally crossing our southern border. This is outright lunacy, with the liars and the leakers and the leftists running the asylum, with radicals resisting not just the president, but the law, the Constitution, and the Americans who put this man in office. They take our laws and our Constitution and they use them to distort them for their own illegal purposes. And damn it, They've gotten away with it. Who the hell are these people who flaunt the law and get away with it? And they even laugh about the fact that their deep state is accomplishing its goal. I, for one, am sick and tired of this nonsense. I'm sick and tired of the lies and the hate and the hypocrisy and the lawlessness of those who hate the man who every day fights for this country. I don't want to hear that secret hearings are still going on. I don't want to hear that Schiff has the right to veto the president's lawyer, to veto a Republican subpoena, to veto testimony, to close the doors. Who the hell does this guy think he is? Who's blowing smoke up his Schiff? Now, I've been in California and Texas and Florida in the last 2.5 weeks. I have literally spoken to thousands of Americans. Every one of them wants to know when these leftist criminals are going to be prosecuted, when there's going to be accountability. And Nancy Pelosi, for all her nonsense about the president not being above the law, stop the doublespeak, Nancy. It's you and your gang of criminals who are above the law. And Bill Barr and John Durham better be prepared with indictments or face the wrath of America that for too long has felt that they are held to a different standard. In the end, this is only about a conversation that our president had with the president of Ukraine. And to be honest with you, it's none of your damn business what was said. We're not entitled to know what Barack Obama was promising Putin through Medvedev after the election in that hot mic moment. And we're not entitled to know what the quid pro quo of Barack Obama was when he gave $150 billion to the Ayatollah. Or are we just supposed to assume he was playing Santa Claus with Iran? A phone call with the Ukraine involves policy. If you don't like the president's policy, vote for someone else. The guy on the other end of the phone says there was no pressure. The transcript makes it clear there was no pressure. The guy on the other end didn't even know military funds were not available. So how the hell can there be a quid pro quo? And I am tired of protecting this whistleblower. Barack Obama fired the whistleblower in Fast and Furious. And from what it appears, this whistleblower is just another punk trying to get his leftist creds. He's nothing more than white noise, totally irrelevant to the conversation, which in itself is the best and only evidence. So all of you out there, get over it. This is a bunch of nonsense. The Democrats are tearing this country apart yet again. They are wusses and wimps and weasels, and they don't have the chutzpah to face Donald Trump in November. And I don't blame him, because he'll blow those wusses, wimps, and weasels right out of the swampy water that they call home. And that's my open. Let me know what you think on my Facebook page, Twitter, #Judge Jeanine.